I'm sitting here making coffee, bruh. But also, I was watching the Pat McAfee show. Jesus, I'm losing my mind. Because Aaron Rodgers Tuesday was happening, and I like football mostly for the fact that it's a thinking man's sport. Like you have to to generally understand what's actually going on the field. You have to understand how the positions work and um, why a safety does what he does and what a linebacker is supposed to do and coverages and all that stuff. I like the idea behind them. It's an interesting sport. Okay, but the point is, it's coming to my attention, at least the more and more that I keep watching content of things that are about someone trying to ask somebody for help. Like, Aaron Rodgers had brought up the refs because TJ Watt was like, oh yeah, the refs are blind. They're fucking stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Which is true. And Pat McAfee was like, hey, what do you think about the ref shit? And he was like, well, I mean, to be honest, it's down to a procedural issue. It's down to a league issue. Where he was like, look, the job is rough. You know, it's a rough job to have. To understand the rules and to see them play out takes a lot of time. It's about being involved in it and doing it and being around it to understand what you need to see for it to be a problem. It's a position that if you do it, it takes a lot of time to get good at it, to become a good ref. Which also comes down to common sense. I mean, some people just shouldn't be a ref. Some people should be refs. It's you got to be a particular type of person to be a referee of anything. You know, to be a commissioner of anything, you have to be a particular type of person. And what I find more interesting is that people that aren't usually referees or commissioners or somebody who has the thought, the common sense to be good with these guidelines and how you have to do this job normally are not the people doing the job. So let me put that into context for you. Like for instance, right? If you're Aaron Rodgers, he was basically saying, hey, look, the problem with the league is that the refs aren't paid. He was like, they don't get paid enough money to keep doing the job. And he was like, look, the TV, Fox and ESPN and all these other companies will pay money to have these refs basically ref the game on TV. When they need them, they will come in and be like, hey, bro, what was the idea behind that? And they're the best referees because they didn't get paid in the NFL. So they didn't have any reason to stay with the NFL. So when the TV companies are paying more money, you're going to lose all your good refs because you can go get paid to be a ref, but not being there, not traveling, and not doing all this. He was like, look, man, with the job being difficult and then these TV companies are taking these refs, he was like, the main thing that you really need to do is just pay these refs. He was like, pay the refs and then they'll do their jobs. He was like, we lose all the good refs, And he was also like, look, if you go to it by the league, why don't you instead of trying to pull them back from the TV companies, why don't you give them a position within the NFL where they're going to teach the referees or just generally being around enough that if they have time with the referees, which the point of this video is to bring up the school of thought that is not really allowed to happen. I don't know if y'all think about it, but I think about it a lot, where the people who should be in charge of these decisions and these types of ideas are usually never in that realm to be able to control those types of decisions. But what I find more interesting is how does, for instance, Roger Goodell not see that clip and then be like, oh yeah, that's fucking brilliant. That's brilliant. I don't need to get them back. I just need to get them here. I just need to have them here. If I pay them a fucking salary and I say, look, let's try to teach these guys what to look for. I want you to get involved with these new referees and I want you to pick their brain and I would be like, look, if I'm Goodell, at least, I would tell these refs, I'd be like, learn shit from these people. And there needs to be a type of penalty system. Oh, well, if you didn't do something right or you got a call wrong, first of all, if the call is wrong, shit, have one of those referees be the guy. Don't get fucking what's his face out of there. The one who screwed up the pass interference replay reviews. Like that guy shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be there. Should not be there. Just shouldn't. I mean, sorry. You literally blew the new rule. You know, they ruined it before it could even be done. He sabotaged the entire thing because he just wouldn't reverse the calls even if they were wrong called on the field. And it was a real problem. So a rule technically wasn't allowed to work because a guy sabotaged it. And that there was no recourse, there's no penalty to that guy. So he gets to just ruin the entire sport's new rule that really needed to happen to take less priority on these dudes on the field who can make mistakes and can make wrong decisions. And then there was another level of it to fix it. And they actively refused to fix it when it was wrong. It's a real problem. And this happens in all other, think about any other sport, any other job, politics, any of that kind of shit. The people who have the best ideas are either their ideas are not heard at all, which I don't understand. Like, you're Aaron Rodgers, you're the NFL MVP from the season before, you're on this show every Tuesday. You would figure after a while, Roger Goodell or somebody in charge of that upper echelon level where this would be a decision that would be made by these people, these are the guys to do it, and they somehow don't ever hear about this idea or these new thoughts or because when the guy said that shit, I was like, yes sir, that would fucking fix a lot of problems, or at least it would get you to the realm of now you can try to. And it was really just a common sense, point of view. It wasn't even necessarily like he made the greatest, he's one of the greatest minds in the world. It's like, no, he just really made a common sense point. He just made a commonsensical point of this is how we could fix this problem. And that will go nowhere. That will go nowhere. Why? Why is it like this in any category you can think of? Because me personally, if I'm Roger Goodell, I take that idea. 100%. I steal that. That's a great idea. I would steal it and then be like, I call him on the phone and be like, hey, by the way, what you said on that show, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that because it was a good fucking idea. And you deserve to know that I just stole your idea from you. And I'm going to try to use it because it's true. It's true. What is the problem in doing that? I don't understand it with people. I guess because people who are looked at on the outside as being kind of an asshole, like, that's what people think about Aaron Rodgers. They're like, oh, he's a dick. He's a bastard. He's rude to the media. He's rude to, blah, 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 blah. He's just a realistic guy. He's the most normal person that when you hear him talk and you see how he thinks, you're like, wow, he's a normal guy. He's just a normal fucking dude, you know? If somebody asks him a dumb question, he tells you it's a dumb question. So people who are honest, their ideas don't get used. People who have common sense, their ideas don't get used. They just slip under the cracks. And it's like, why? Why? I don't understand it. The older I get, the more and more shit that I watch, and then hear people who have legitimately good ideas that could probably fix a major issue, whether it be in the realm of politics, you can find a lot of them. Number two, in the realm of sports, you can find a lot of them. Anything that you can think of that has a commissionary aspect over the top of it, that has rules and regulations, people are constantly thinking of ideas, saying their ideas out loud into the ether where anybody could hear it that has any sort of responsibility over that kind of shit. And none of the ideas are ever used. None of the ideas are ever taken into consideration. None of them ever get... They're not even thought upon by somebody who is within that realm to have a decision-making process on the fucking order, you know? The older I get, the more and more I get pissed about that kind of shit. Because it's like, the guy made a perfect point. The TV companies steal them. We need to have these dudes. They're important. I want them to be involved. And this is somebody who's done that shit for 17 years. Why? I don't get it. I don't get it, dude. It's crazy.